Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only show where one host has, I don't know where we had week 4 of recovery, and the other host has come back from Florida, and wouldn't you guess it, is now sick. I'm your host, Ryan Knightsey, with me as always. Well, yeah, as always, pretty much 99% of the time, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how you doing? Well, I know you're not doing well today, but how are you feeling, I guess?
I feel like garbage, death, anything else you could put in. But for some reason, I said to myself, I'm just going to record today. Why not? Will I make it through the full episode? That's the real question.
He's going to bow out the moment we talk about One Night Dream 2.
I saw you put the lineup together, and I said, I had no idea. I think all of this was happening.
Yeah, this is a big-ass show. This is a big-ass show. We got a billion topics to talk about.
Learning Double or Nothing was coming up was an absolute mind fuck.
Next week.
Yeah, didn't know that. My friend today texted me, was like, hey, you want to watch Double or Nothing next week? I was like,
excuse?
Huh? Next week?
Yeah.
I haven't watched anything. Like, I've barely watched any wrestling the past week. Besides Flashing Champions, and I just finished that about 10 minutes before this. So, thankfully, we're only reviewing one thing today.
That's true. That's true. Well, yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, as you said. But before we get to it, you just came back from your family vacation. Was it a good vacation? Did you go to Disney World, or were you sick the entire time at Disney? When did you get sick? When did that happen?
I avoided being sick the entire time. Thank God. That was like the last day that I just was dead.
Yeah.
And now here I am, dead. Happy to be here. It's really bad. It's really bad, as you can tell, as I continuously talk and sound like I don't even know what I sound like, but I don't think it sounds good. But it was good otherwise, and I'm tired. And thank God Memorial Day weekend is next weekend. That was a beautiful thing to learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine. It was hot.
Yeah, it was Florida after all, wasn't it?
Yet I'm hotter now, and I'm in my own home. I'm just sweating profusely, like I said. So,
you said you went to Disney World prior. Which park was it?
Epcot.
Oh, I haven't been to Epcot in a decade, maybe.
Like, well, we went to all of them actually, but
okay.
Hit Epcot a lot.
A lot? What do you mean a lot? You don't just go to one time? You went to Epcot back and forth?
To Epcot twice.
Oh, hey, big spender over here.
Yeah. Crazy. But the first day I was sick, I drank something and I thought I was going to die. It was just a beer, but I thought I was going to die. Yeah. I don't drink anyways, but my dad was
Why did you drink a beer then?
I don't know, man. I didn't say I was smart. I'm suffering, okay? You are watching me live on air suffer, and you're asking me questions that I don't have answers to other than I'm an idiot.
Look, long-time listeners of the show can agree that we've never said that either of us are smart.
That's true.
We've never
claimed. Boy, am I going to prove that today.
Well, yeah, we got a lot of stuff to get to today, like we sort of talked about. A big-time show for us to get into. Lots of big-time news, a lot of previews, and one review. So let's start off. I'll give you that rundown, the table of contents. Of course, like you said, Stardom Flashing Champions review. And sticking in the Joshi world, Marigold Fields Forever will have its first show tomorrow on Monday. Noah One Night Dream 2 is going to happen as well on Wednesday. And then on Saturday, WWE King and Queen of the Ring. Saudi Arabia, who gives a shit about the show? And then on that following Sunday, because it's a week out.
That's this weekend?
King of the King.
King of the King.
King of Queens, starting what's his face? Kevin James? Yeah,
Kevin James.
That is this Saturday. And then on Sunday, AEW Double or Nothing is our preview. But of course, we got some news to get to before it. Can you believe that lineup? We got a big time week.
This is a big time week. And boy, oh boy, am I behind.
And one of the things we're not talking about is, best of the Super Junior updates, which will be happening all week as well. I believe Rev Pro, CMLL, Fantasticomania is today. There's a bajillion things happening. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to get to.
I realize you went 2.5 hours last week by yourself.
That is
There's
correct. I'm
no shot in hell I'm making it 2.5 hours. So
that's fine. We're working.
Let's get on a roll, baby.
Oh my god. Well, let's start off with AEW Double or Nothing as our first lead.
What is on the show?
What is on Double or Nothing? Well, I'm glad you asked, Scotty. I am glad you asked because I got the card right in front of me, and we'll go through. We'll start off with what was announced this week: the triple main event of AEW.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Yes, it has been fully announced that it is a triple main event. All three of your triple main events are going to be the Anarchy in the Arena match, the World title match, and the TBS title match are your three main events.
Do you remember a year ago when WWE did that for some like random Cody match and people were mad?
Yep.
Were people mad this time?
Oh yeah. People were upset.
Cool,
I saw a lot of if you have three main events, you have no main events.
Boom, roasted. What do you think's the main event?
Oh, I think the main event should honestly be Anarchy in the Arena. I think.
Wow, Ryan hates women.
Hold on. Don't say that less than 10 minutes of the episode. That's a third out. No. I'm joking. Don't clip that. I think the triple main event is threefold. I think it is the world title should be the main event, but Anarchy in the Arena is easily the hottest program we have going on right now. And you know what? Why not? I wouldn't be shocked if like Mercedes Monet's contract was like, I want to main event a pay-per-view. And guess what? Now she can main event a pay-per-view.
Not if she's not in the main event, buddy.
I agree. Anarchy in the Arena is the biggest built, but like they're obviously Mercedes Monet is a big star, and I'm sure it's probably a contract thing as well. And the world title is against Christian, which is not as big, and it's both TBS and world titles are a little slow in the kip up, but they're getting there. But the Anarchy in the Arena is easily the most exciting.
You know my hot take?
What's that?
AEW TV these days kind of stinks.
Yeah, it's a little down. It's definitely a little down. I
watched Dynamite this week, and I said, wow, I could have not watched any of that. Would have missed nothing.
I think that's fair.
Outside of the I thought the contract signing was good.
Mercedes Monet and Willow. Yeah.
I thought that was good. And then
good bump. First ever bump by Mercedes here.
Yeah. And I guess bringing Darby out was important too.
Mm-hmm.
Though I laughed that they replaced a broken leg with a broken person.
Yes, that is the Anarchy in the Arena match. The Elite, Jack Perry, Kazuchika Okada, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson versus Bryan Danielson, Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood, and Darby Allin. Darby Allin, currently injured.
AEW.
Currently injured, broken nose, hit by a bus, broken arm, or whatever the hell he's got, replacing the supposed broken leg of Eddie Kingston.
Funny enough, that's how I feel today. Anyways.
You're the Darby Allin of the podcast.
It's kind of don't ever no. And
then in your screen, a bus just hits you.
Feels like it. Okada in a plunder match is very weird.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone thought about that? Because I sure have. Yeah. You know my hot take? I have another one.
Ooh,
I really wish we didn't. I really wish we didn't make Anarchy and Stadium Stampede a yearly thing.
Oh, like okay.
Because we could just change Double or Nothing's name to Anarchy in the Arena at this stage, and it'd just be like TLC or Hell in a Cell, because that's what it is. It's a lock for these pay-per-views.
Well, Anarchy in the Arena wasn't last year, right? It was like after Forbidden Door at the TD Garden.
It was last year.
Was it also at Double or Nothing?
You're thinking of Blood and Guts.
Oh, I am thinking of Blood and Guts. You are correct.
I was there, sadly. I hate Blood and Guts. So Anarchy in the Arena or Stadium Stampede has been every Double or Nothing
Is it
since the
2021?
second one. The second one, 2020, because remember they had to like think of something creative.
That was Stadium Stampede. That was the first one. Yeah, I forgot this happens in May, and COVID started in March.
Yeah, I just don't love like doing it every year, but this match at least is interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I will allow it. I just hope it's creative because it's really hard to be creative, especially after the first one. Because the first one was so good, right? I don't remember last
First
year at
Anarchy in
all.
the Arena specifically.
Yeah.
The
Just
Eddie
like the
Kingston
Stampede.
fire. The Eddie Kingston fire shot.
Yeah, I don't remember anything besides the first Stadium Stampede, but my
Let
ultimate
me ask
point
you this
is
question: what was last year's Anarchy in the Arena?
I know what it was, and that's only because I looked it up. It's the Elite versus BCC, I think.
Oh,
I
I had
think.
no idea. I'm gonna look it up. BCC versus the Elite. Yes, correct. Can you guess? Can you say what 2022's was?
The original?
Yes. No, not the original, because the original would have been 2021, or was that
No,
still?
2021 was year 2 of Stadium Stampede.
You're right, and that's because when the crowd come back. Did they have an Anarchy? No, this one didn't. Oh no, it did. It did. Yes.
2022 had Eddie Kingston and Santana Ortiz
Uh-huh.
and Moxley
Yes.
against had to be Jericho's thing. No, was it a Jericho thing?
Jericho Appreciation Society versus Bryan Danielson, Moxley, Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz.
Bryan Danielson's been in 3 of them.
Yes.
He got hurt last year. Bad.
This is his third Anarchy in the Arena. It's like a Hell in a Cell where like it takes years off your career. Yeah, Anarchy in the Arena. I get your point. I think it's like if this was sort of like more of a WWE product, at a certain point you would rebrand Double or Nothing as Anarchy in the Arena, and it would still work. Like that's a pretty good pay-per-view name as well, right? So it's totally plausible, and I don't want to lose the Double or Nothing obviously marquee, but like I get it.
I just don't love like having things planned for exact shows. That was a WWE problem for me, and that's like Blood and Guts for me is like it's the same time of year, right? And it's like you have to build towards a annual special match. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like do Anarchy in the Arena when it's needed. You know, like do it when a feud calls for it. And I guess this one does because the Elite, but at the same time it's like that's the whole point. They built it to make it make sense. I just don't like the annual thing. Okay, sue me.
There's a billion lawyers just got called. I think I get where you're coming from. I think the past, I don't remember, like I said, I didn't really remember like last year's. I remember the Eddie Kingston one, but like even then, like the build to those I thought were well done. Like the last year's, I'm recalling, you have Adam Page coming off of like Adam Page Moxley, you have Kenny Omega Moxley steel cage match. Like you started to build up to it, and I think it made sense. I think the other thing that will annoy me is that like this will happen, and then months from now we'll get the similar the similar blood and guts match with the Elite versus some AEW faction. It's gonna be the same sort of like participants, and maybe the Elite will have another member by them, so it's 5-on-5. I guess that's the question. I mean, the match itself, every time the match is still pretty good and still very exciting. I think Eddie Kingston one was obviously the best one so far. But I mean, these participants, the Young Bucks are going to go out and do their thing. I think Jack Perry, is going to bring out class, for a fact it's happening, and Darby will go through it. It's right there.
I think this one will be better because Darby's in it.
Yes, I question how much exactly Darby can do, but I also don't think it matters how injured he is, because I think he will do whatever he will do. And then FTR, I think, will be fine, and Bryan Danielson's going to, bleed. So it's going to be, I think it's still going to be very good. It's just, I get where you're coming from.
The Elite wins, by the way, obviously.
Yeah, I agree with that. You gotta, especially if like, they sort of tease this idea of Claudio and Bryan Danielson, like friction between BCC. But now that Eddie Kingston's gone, so I don't know if they are still going to do that. I know people were like, oh, maybe there's friction. Maybe Claudio joins the Elite or something like that. But if Eddie Kingston gone, I think that story is kind of purposefulness. Doesn't really make sense anymore.
I think the scapegoat should pin someone, not Bryan Danielson. Can we stop having Danielson get pinned? For the love of God,
you would love it. I do. There will be a moment, by the way, and I want it to be in the middle of the ring where all the chaos is happening around, and we get Bryan Danielson versus Okada again.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
House of Torture should help. Never mind.
Woo! AEW World Title match: Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage. Like I said, I don't necessarily think this will be the main event of the show, but it's one of three. Like I said, this on the TBS title program is a little slow, and in terms of the story here, or at least in the heat of the story compared to Anarchy in the Arena. But I think after last Wednesday and the Blood feud, I think that was, I think it's definitely heating up a lot quicker. It didn't make sense fully why Christian was getting this world title shot, but the story here with Swerve's title reign seems to be the sins of the past. And hey, I'll take a Christian Cage Swerve Strickland match if it means eventually we'll have Swerve versus Adam Page, so I'll take this for right now if that's the case.
Yeah, I love it. It doesn't do a lot for me in terms of like the story they've gone with.
Mm-hmm.
I like Christian Cage. I like Swerve, obviously, so I'm sure it'll be a good match. And usually when Christian's in a big match, he delivers in this company.
Agreed.
I do think this past week was better. I didn't love the Mogul Embassy part of it. I just found
their turn.
Yeah, and Nana hasn't. That's his name, Prince Nana. Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been around, right?
No, he's been mysterious by his absence, I guess.
I'm interested to see if he's back at the pay-per-view. You should not take Swerve away. You should not take Nana away from Swerve. I can't say that enough. I think that's a complete act. But I do think this match will be very good, and it will be a very good first defense in terms of the match itself. The story just hasn't been hasn't locked me in any way.
I get that. I wasn't when they announced like Christian being the number one contender or whatever, even though he didn't wrestle a match and yada yada yada. In the last match we saw him in was losing. They haven't. I felt like that.
To be exact.
What's that?
The last match he was in, he quit.
Fair point. I don't necessarily feel like it's been fully explained to me how he got this title shot. I feel like that's missing from the story. But like I said, I guess the idea is that because the Young Bucks are controlling, they just allowed it. But then why would the Young Bucks want Christian to beat up on Swerve? Like, why would they be okay with that? Why, it's one of those things. It's like, it doesn't quite make sense. They haven't explained it because I think they don't have an idea. Jeff Bugenhagen in the chat. Hey, Jeff, how's it going? Wait, so AEW's rankings don't mean anything? This time around, they don't exist anymore.
They never do mean anything.
They meant something with Samoa
Joe. Hold. 2 of the 3 main events.
Agreed.
How did Mercedes Moné earn the title shot? How did Christian Cage earn the title shot? Rankings don't mean anything. Bringing them back was a mistake.
I think bringing them back.
They're not really here anyways, are they?
No, they have not brought up the rankings since Swerve has won the title. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And it's what
they only use them when it helps them.
Yeah, it's come to a point where if the story they're telling involves winning matches, then it becomes rankings, and that Samoa Joe wanted rankings, so it became about rankings. This time around, it's not. It's like I said, the story is sins of my past with Swerve Strickland. Sins of my past, the Swerve Strickland story, and then just a picture of him smiling. Ding. So like I said, just like Scotty, I'll take my medicine here. I'll take a Christian Cage good match with Swerve to eventually get to Adam Page because it rhymes, just like poetry. AEW TBS title match: Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné in her first match in the company.
This is obviously the most interesting and exciting match on the show because I have no idea if Mercedes Moné is like capable of wrestling like she used to. So like for me, it's the most interesting. Like, no, the story until the press conference wasn't fully there for me. But I thought the press conference was really, really good. And I think the natural story behind the match makes sense, right? Using the resurgence match from last year to build to this one. I think that works. And I think the intrigue of Mercedes wrestling again for the first time in over a year now. I think that's obviously the main talking point. So I'm very intrigued to see what they do. I don't know what this match is going to look like. I don't know how Mercedes' ankle is. Was it her ankle? Yeah, it was her ankle.
Yeah. Last we heard, and she's a wrestler, so who knows.
But she's Mercedes, and I have a lot of trust in her as a pro wrestler. And her and Willow had a really good match last year until the injury.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't see it being anything but really good, assuming Mercedes is good to go.
I have to assume she is. The reports were that like it was so bad that she had like relearned how to walk or whatever. And like I said, like I was gonna say, is that it's a wrestler, so I'm sure she's talking up a little bit, but like still, you have to imagine at this point she's good to go. She took a great bump through a table. It should be good, right? I mean, I don't think there's any reason it shouldn't be good. Even if Mercedes, like that's the thing also, even if Mercedes Moné is not as much of a wrestler as she once was, she was still a great wrestler. So I'll take really good Mercedes Moné.
Really good Mercedes Moné is still
really good.
pretty much top 5 in America. So
probably, yeah. So I'm excited for it. I think it should be an exciting match at the very least. Mercedes winning, I think we can both presume.
If they don't have her win, then what are we doing? I think there is an interesting story to tell with Willow after. I just don't know if they will follow through. I would like to think they do. I also think Willow should have had this title months ago, but that is a different conversation for a different day. If Mercedes doesn't win, I will be stunned. She should be winning, and giving her the TBS is interesting.
Agreed.
For sure. But if she's wrestling from time to time on TV, I wouldn't be upset either. We'll have to wait and see, though, how it all goes. I'm just happy she's finally wrestling. Because like we talked about once upon a time, the draw of Mercedes Moné is her wrestling.
Agreed. I think that's been said a billion times in the build-up to this.
I have enjoyed the character of being very WWE, that she's kind of now a heel, though, because she is naturally 10 times better as a heel than she is a babyface.
Agreed. AEW International title match: Roderick Strong versus Will Ospreay. I don't think there's any reason.
Completely forgot this was happening.
Yes, I don't think this match there's any reason for this match to be bad. I think it's definitely going to be really good to great. Now, here's a question for you, Scotty. Will Ospreay has gotten a Meltzer Observer 5-star plus match every month this year so far. Will Ospreay get a 5-star match at a 2024 Roddy Strong?
Well, here's the thing. I think Roddy Strong's still good. I just think like the gimmick sucks ass.
Agreed.
So yeah, probably. I'd be shocked if it isn't, especially how Dave goes. Because like Roddy's still great. I watched that match with freaking Chris Jericho last year. That was great. Chris Jericho stinks. Don't come to me about the learning tree stuff. I skip it every week. I don't watch any of it. It's bad. Also, learn that Hook versus Jericho is probably happening on this pay-per-view. Heartbroken. Unless Brian Keith wins, of course.
He's eating the pin. What are we talking about?
Um, yeah, I'm sure it'll be 5 stars from Dave.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked.
I would be surprised if it wasn't, actually.
Now, beyond, meta commentary of the Dave stuff, Will Ospreay here. Is he, obviously everyone's talking about Will Ospreay having some sort of world title match at Wembley, right? That's the conjecture.
Sure.
Do you give Will Ospreay his first loss here, or do you have him win the international title and then maybe eventually lose it before Wembley or whatever that's happening there? Or do we do some BS where it's a DQ finish where Will Ospreay gets the dub on paper?
Imagine if they did that.
I can't. I would be so frustrated if that
would be very fitting of how I feel about AEW right now. It'd be like that exact finish. I don't think. I think Ospreay just wins.
Wins the title?
Yeah, I do. Because no offense to Roderick Strong, but Roderick Strong being the first guy to beat Ospreay in this, reintroduction of him would be shocking. I think
here's a good one from Jeff in the chat. Adam Cole makes the DQ finish. Adam Cole gets involved. He's walking around.
Literally think Ryan would kill himself. I think that would be. I think you would be done with AEW if that happened.
I wouldn't be done.
Not only is a Will Ospreay match ending in a DQ finish, it's Adam Cole that's doing it. I truly think.
And then they're beating down Will Ospreay, and who makes a save? MJF.
Oh my god, that's actually really believable.
And then on Dynamite, Adam Cole, Roddy Strong versus Will Ospreay and MJF.
Here's what I would do. What is it? It's May now. Correct. You have until end of August to get I think the best case scenario, and they probably won't do this because it's a good booking decision, is you have Ospreay win, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have him go against Takeshita again, probably July, right? Gives you enough time to rebuild him after.
Yeah, June.
And the Don Callis family screws Ospreay and Takeshita gets the belt, and then that way, mid-conversation, cough, brutal. Mm-hmm. And then that way, Takeshita finally gets a belt, international belt, which he can then defend elsewhere.
Yeah, DDT, yeah.
And Ospreay's one loss isn't that bad, and he can go for the world title at All In. I'm about to die, so take it.
Well, that also, I really like that because then that would also obviously set up if Ospreay then goes on to win the world title from Swerve or whomever, Christian Cage, at Wembley. Then you have a natural third match with Takeshita down the line. Obviously, at this point, you're conjecture that he would have the international title, so maybe it would happen immediately. But down the line, you have a third match you can set up.
Feels too easy to not do.
Yeah, I think that's fair. There's also, you can also not do Takeshita, and I would like the idea of let's just do
Trent Beretta, I will fight you.
No, I was gonna say Forbidden Door. Let's just do Will Ospreay versus Shingo. For the title. That'd be let's go.
Wow. AEW fan wants AEW to sign another talent away from the Japanese company.
I didn't say that. I said give a title to a New Japan wrestler. Never said sign.
That's true.
They would sign Shingo if they could.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but I think that could be a fun idea as well. But I like the Takeshita one. I think that there's more story back end and story forward with the Takeshita match in July.
I think the natural turn is coming because you want Ospreay as a super. They obviously want him as their top babyface, so it feels like the natural way to give him a short reign but keep him strong.
Now, yes, we do not have a pay-per-view in July. I'm looking at the thing. It is Forbidden Door, and then the next pay-per-view is All In London. It would have to be some sort of, I don't know, one of these shows in Arlington, Texas. Maybe you do a title switch of him versus Takeshita. Or
TV.
Oh, hold on. We're in Arlington, Texas. Will Ospreay versus Mystico. Let's go.
All right. Now you're just, I'm not going to say no. but Mystico doesn't lose, baby. So
Belt up. Yeah, I know. So we belt up Mystico. That's
is
what
it
I'm
just
talking.
Collision in Arlington?
It is just Collision. 1, 2, 3, 4 for 5 dates. And a Ring of Honor show.
Weird.
Ring of Honor pay-per-view. Death Before Dishonor.
Ring of Honor still has pay-per-views? Who's the Ring of Honor World Champion? Mark Briscoe. I got it.
Where is Mark? Is he still wrestling? Is he injured? Is he still?
He went into ROH purgatory.
He went into the vortex.
Does Athena still wrestle?
Yeah, I see clips of Athena still on Twitter, so I know she's still wrestling.
The OGK still has those belts, right?
Yep.
Big loser Kyle Fletcher still has his belt.
Wow.
Dude's never won a match on AEW television, yet he has a belt.
Mark Briscoe hasn't been seen since Dynasty April last month.
So is he hurt? Must be hurt.
I'm going back to Jeff's thing of Adam Cole making the DQ finish, and now I am thinking of them spinning off into Adam Cole versus Will Ospreay for the title at some point in July, and that being the thing. And I could see them giving Adam Cole the first pinfall victory over Will Ospreay over like someone like Roddy Strong and belting up Adam Cole.
How do you feel about MJF versus Adam Cole probably happening in All In again
for the international title?
I mean,
I don't like it.
I don't think that title being involved had anything to do with you not liking it.
Oh no. No,
I know your biggest fear in the world is that you're not even loving AEW right now, and MJF's coming back.
It's not. I'm liking AEW. I'm not loving. I'm not hating. I'm like Tamet on AEW right now. I think.
Don't worry.
And if MJF comes back, I'm falling off. I'm falling off a little bit more.
He's coming back. He's gonna be your favorite wrestler. It's fine. When they do MJF versus Ospreay, you might actually end
it. AEW Women's World Title match, timeless. Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb.
We already talked about the world title. Willow's the world champion.
Oof. Oof. You got to knock off world title in this one with not main event of the show.
Can Mariah May turn already? Kind of like, is it just me? Or like, can we just get there? This is okay.
Well, okay. So can I do a counteract to immediately before you go on your tangent?
I know it's happening in All In. I get it.
I didn't think about that, but that's probably true. You're probably right, Wembley. Remember how part of this story was about the rankings and how Mariah May was moving up the rankings so much.
Yeah,
and Tony was like, that's a great idea. You moved up the rankings just to defend my title from, basically like defend the spot from everybody else. And now that's like completely dropped because the rankings don't exist. I like that as part of the story, you know?
That and, Mina has to fight for the belt at Forbidden Door. And if you have rankings, how's that going to work? Yeah. Oh, she beat Anna Jay. She's first in the rankings. Great.
Yeah, you're right. This match is whatever because we know it's gonna be Mina next, and then Wembley is Mariah May, and then that's probably where she's winning the title. That'd be nice.
Remember Jamie Hayter?
Who? I haven't seen her in over a year. Hassan Albani in the chat. Mark Briscoe thanked AEW for maternity leave on tour yesterday. I'm guessing he's back soon. I forgot that he wife was pregnant. They just gave birth to their billionth child. But yeah, this match
Tony's winning, obviously.
Tony's winning, obviously. Her match quality has gotten better.
Shout out Azumi.
Yeah, that certainly helped as well. And not necessarily shout out Harley Cameron, but timeless Toni Storm looked better than previously in the match. I think that she has stepped up. She's brought back her game. She's dropped a little bit of the character when it comes to the matches itself. So to that end, I am now more excited of her versus Serena Deeb than I would have been, 4 months ago or whatever.
Yeah, I will agree. Here's the weird thing they keep doing is that like Tony Storm's very much a baby face in the people's eyes.
Correct.
Yet everyone that faces her is the baby face. And they get booed. And it makes for weird matches.
That's fair. Especially for Deeb, who is doing the baby face.
Like it'll work for Mariah because people like Mariah, and when she's a baby face, it'll work. But
I think it'll work for Mina.
Maybe it depends how they do that build up. Like if it's Mariah, like kind of trying to pick sides and stuff, it might work. But the only time Mina has been on AEW TV, what 4-5 times?
Yeah, she shows up randomly just for a run.
And it's been mostly drinking champagne. Kissed Mariah once.
2.
And 1 match.
2
matches.
Ring of Honor and AEW. We'll certainly get more of her.
And they were both against Anna Jay, correct?
Yes. We'll get more Mina Shirakawa when we get the build to Forbidden Door.
Yeah, which should be when is Forbidden Door? A month from now?
June, next month.
Are you excited for? Okay, let's have a conversation here. Are you excited for Forbidden Door?
It's too far away in my thinking that I don't know.
Here's the thing.
I am not first year Forbidden Door excited. I am let's get past Double or Nothing and start thinking about what this is. Because right now, Forbidden Door to me is Mina Shirakawa versus Timeless Tony Storm. Moxley maybe defending the title, maybe, probably, or not.
Probably.
I've pitched before like a multi-man with Moxley in it. Maybe, but if it is, it might be against Naito.
I think there's going to be 3 women's matches on the show, and none of them include the IWGP Women's title.
I think it's plausible.
I think it's going to be the TBS, obviously, because Mercedes is going to be like, I want to wrestle a Stardom wrestler. And I said probably Azumi, I think. Then Mina and Tony, and then I think Stephanie Vaquer as well.
Sure. I think possible.
I think it would be stupid if Stephanie Vaquer was not on the show. Personally, I also think that if Mystico's not on the show, I will riot.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten any updates, anything about the CMLL involvement of the show.
They've just disappeared.
Like they're at least teasing the idea of Mina Shirakawa and Timeless Tony Storm already. They're not even touching CMLL. That gets me thinking that there isn't going to be CMLL involvement.
So last year, they kept Jay White off the show.
Correct.
Are they going to keep Ospreay and Okada too?
I wouldn't be shocked.
That's a lot of star power missing from that show.
Yeah, it is. And and we're talking about things that we kind of have an idea of maybe where they would go with the women's.
Yeah.
The men's, I mean, we talked about it as you have Evil.
Swerve said he wants Shingo, right?
I think so. I'll take Swerve versus Shingo. That would be nice.
I wouldn't say no.
I think that's a good also
show this year, huh?
Yeah, I think I don't necessarily think it's AEW. I think it's more of a New Japan's roster is so thin and underwhelming right now that there's not really anything for them to give to Forbidden Door. That's why everyone's talking about Stardom and CMLL is that New Japan is really lacking in the roster right now. Which you lost 2 of your top stars, 3 in the past year, and you haven't really pushed. You've started to push, but not really pushed anyone up into the next thing. The only one you really pushed up, I feel like right now, has been Evil. So it's been rough stuff to say the least. Moving right along. Speaking of IWGP World Heavyweight Title Eliminator match between Jon Moxley and Konosuke Takeshita. I'm very excited about this. Takeshita has been really good this year. Moxley's also been really good.
Hilarious do like that it's an eliminator.
You know what? This is want to know my thought on it being an eliminator. Want to know my thought on this?
That Takeshita can actually win.
I think. Well, I think it gives an idea that Takeshita could win. which is helpful more so than just the world title match. My take is that this is a Twitter problem where everyone was up in arms about Will Hobbs getting a title shot. Yeah, there's a lot of Twitter problems. I think everyone was up in arms about Will Hobbs getting a title shot, and so they can't give Takeshita a title shot against Moxley here because
funny thing is, not a single person would have complained if it was Takeshita. I know that. I know that for a fact.
I don't know. I think there's some hardcore
New Japan fans probably would have, but New Japan fans complain about everything.
I think there's some hardcore New Japan fans that would have been upset with Takeshita getting a title shot out of nowhere. And I think there would have been less people upset because people like Takeshita more than Hobbs as a wrestler. But it's still very like, who gives a shit? Like, that's how I feel. If it would have been, Hobbs match would have been better if he didn't get injured halfway through it, you know?
It would just be like wicked cool if like Takeshita won matches.
Well, do you think he'll win this one?
No.
Yeah.
It's John Moxley. John Moxley doesn't lose.
Yeah, no. I do like the idea of it being eliminated. Like, it gives me hope, but I agree. I don't think Moxley's losing.
You think John Moxley just refuses to lose? He literally never loses.
In New Japan?
Anywhere.
Yeah. Okay, let's look up. I'll look this up as we review other matches.
When was the last time he was pinned?
I'm looking that up right now.
Was it Phoenix when he got? Oh no, it was Orange Cassidy, wasn't it?
Pin will be tough because I'm just gonna look for when he lost. Well, he lost at Dontaku, but I don't think he was pinned to that one. I'm gonna look at Moxley's singles matches and we'll go from there.
It was Orange Cassidy, I know it.
It might be. As I'm looking that up, I'll let you talk about this. AEW TNT title match, barbed wire steel cage match between Adam Copeland and Malachi Black. I ask you this, Scotty. Will Adam Copeland be going to that dark place?
Did you say barbed wire steel cage?
That is correct.
Malachi Black's gonna bump.
He's gotta. He's the only one in the steel cage. He's gotta.
Wow, that match is weird. You know, I've seen people talk about Ricky Starks this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, well, you know, he might want to go to WWE or something, so that's why he's not getting booked or whatever. Ryan, do you know who wants to go to WWE more than anyone in the world on the AEW roster? Malachi Black, and no one could tell me otherwise.
I said Miro, so I don't know.
I honestly forgot Miro was employed by this company. Not even kidding. Forgot he was a person. Okay, I think that's
Adam Copeland's next TNT challenger.
He sends them all back. I don't remember where I was going with this.
Why are we
match itself? Let me talk about the match itself.
Go.
It's a weird match to have randomly on this show. I know that there's been a story naturally building it up, but it's a very weird stipulation that I did not expect between these two. Is there a reason it's barbed wire? Like, is there like a story part here I've missed?
Story specifically about barbed wire? Not necessarily. I think it's just sort of like the violence between Adam Copeland and House of Black has escalated to a point of barbed wire. I don't think there's like a storyline reason, to my knowledge, of barbed wire.
Now I have a question for you. Do you think
other than Adam Copeland using a barbed wire bat to cause Christian Cage to quit and then I quit match, you know, there's something there, but I think that might be it. Go ahead.
Do you think this match will actually be good?
I don't know. I think there's a good chance it could be good. I think Malachi Black can be a good wrestler with the right opponent, and I think when I say right opponent, I mean opponent that he respects.
What's the last good Malachi Black match?
I don't know off the top of my head. Singles, that would be even tougher. I'll look that up as well.
It has to be singles because
the trios match. I really enjoyed the trios matches with House of Black.
The trios matches, it's mostly Brody doing things.
Yeah, and I enjoy it.
Exactly.
I love that Atlanta street fight with Jeff Jarrett, Mark Briscoe, and Jay Lethal. I love that one. But I think with the right opponent and someone that he likes and respects, and Adam Copeland, I think he will do his best. I think he will give it his all. And Adam Copeland, honestly, has been pretty good since coming to AEW. I thought that Brody King match was great, really great. So I don't know. I think there's solid potential here. My concern is the match getting too muddied up with spooky story stuff of going to that dark place or whatever. So that's my one concern.
He's had 2 singles matches in the past year in AEW.
And only 3 total.
One was against Brian Keith, and the other was against Christopher Daniels.
And the other one was a match against one of his trainees at his wrestling dojo in Florida.
And then, so since the start of 2023, he has 3 singles matches.
He didn't have a single. He didn't have any singles matches in all of 2023.
Unfucking real.
Granted, a lot of that was House of Torture.
His first singles match before that was against Kid Bandit in Prestige.
That was the last one. That was the one where Malachi said he was like quitting and leaving, and he's going.
His last singles match before that was Malachi Black versus Penta Oscuro to qualify for the All Atlantic title. The All Atlantic. That belt that's insane.
He qualified for it and then never wrestled again.
Can I ask you where? Oh my God, this is insane. All right, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole anymore, but it's a fun rabbit hole nonetheless.
Yeah. Speaking of fun rabbit holes, Jon Moxley in 2023 lost to Adam Page in March. Then he lost to Ray Phoenix in September when he was possibly injured, when Ray Phoenix won that title off of him. Wasn't supposed to lose. I'm not going to count the double count of Great Khan that then turned into a false count anywhere in New Japan. Orange Cassidy beat him at Full Gear, and then at the end of the year, Jay White defeated Jon Moxley. Those are all of his singles match losses in 2023.
Cool. Good for him.
I think this match has potential to be good. Like I said, I think there's only concern is mudding up with spooky story stuff.
You love spooky stuff.
Yeah. I'm all over the Wyatt 6.
Man. I forgot that was the thing as well.
People, WWE fans will shit on 50-minute, hour-long matches, but they will rave.
I will too, to be fair.
50-minute Twitch live stream, which is mostly an empty chair.
That's my type of stuff.
Speaking about your type of stuff, FTW title match, Chris Jericho will be defending it against either Shibata, Brian Keith, or Hook. Probably Hook.
I wonder what the worst match on the card is going to be again. Chris Jericho has had the worst match on every pay-per-view for the past 5.
I liked his promo a couple of weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I think, on Dynamite, after him and Big Bill beat some jobbers, where he said, I wrestled Shibata, and guess what? We had the highest match on Cage Match. And I looked back. It was true. He had the best match on Cage Match. And I was like, man, Chris Jericho knows what he's doing right now. I will say he knows what he's doing. He is annoying specifically Scotty, which means to me it's working.
I skip it, so I didn't hear that. I literally have not watched the Jericho segment since.
It's getting over. It's getting over.
That's great. He stinks. His pay-per-view matches stink.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I feel about him versus Hook again? Not great.
I think if FTW rules, it's a nice little variety, But there's also Anarchy Melina and barbed wire steel cage, so not really much variety.
I'd pay cash for Taz to hit a suplex or something.
Based on Taz's body description, I do not think that's plausible.
I said I wish he didn't just have surgery.
Yeah. My take was, now that Taz has gone out of surgery, let's put Chuck Taylor on commentary as the Taz role. I think that'd be fun. The other match apparently announced for the show, I didn't even know this was announced, and this was a pay-per-view match. Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta in a singles match. It was on Dynamite a couple weeks ago, and they're apparently doing that to pay-per-view.
Why?
I don't know. I don't really know. I guess the fuse got blown off. I don't really know.
Does this feud interest you?
You
could say no. It's okay. The fact
really.
that you're thinking about it tells me all you need to know.
Not really. There are things about it that are interesting, but it's taking too long to really do anywhere. they're teasing the Don Callis family involvement with Orange Cassidy, but I think it's probably just going to be a swerve with Trent Beretta joining Don Callis's family. And that fact that it's happening in the pay-per-view to me means that that's when the swerve's happening. What it is, Scotty, is it's a WWE breakup feud where it lasts just a little bit too long and they're waiting for the pay-per-view for the next big story beat. That's what it kind of reads to me right now.
Yeah, it reads to me as something I have zero interest in. Isn't there a trios match going to happen on here?
No, not currently.
Well, they attacked Pac, so I'm going to guess it's Pac and...
The belief is Death Triangle versus the BC Gold or whatever they're called.
Do you remember the first year of the trios belts?
Oh yeah, the Elite, then House of Black,
Death Triangle.
Yeah,
Death Triangle first, technically, because the Elite got suspended for something.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah,
it was a great time. And now they stink.
High work rate, No,
I think Jay White and the Guns have been okay.
Yeah, I think they've been good.
You're a big Guns guy, right?
I do enjoy the Guns. Look, I live in Georgia. But yeah, so yeah, I think that the trios is probably going to happen, barring Phoenix, whatever happening with Phoenix. Other than that, I think that's kind of it. There might be some pre-show stuff, but I think that's pretty much the majority of what's happening. So yeah, AEW Double Nothing. Are you excited? Where do you want to scale 1 to 10? It's hard to judge based off of your death and flu. But you're at a 4? You're not excited at all?
No. Wow. My interest in AEW is not there. Am I going to watch the show? Of course I am.
Of course. You got a job.
The last year, Double or Nothing stunk. I don't think it's going to stink this year. The fact that I didn't know it was coming this weekend kind of tells you how anticipated I am for this. Now I want to be wrong. I hope it's a 10 out of 10 show.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not a 10 out of 10, I hope it's a 9 out of 10 show.
And if it's not 9 out of 10
show, I hope it's a 4 out of 10 show.
That's fair.
That's not true. That's not true. I don't want it to be a 4 out of 10 show. I paid my money for this. It better be good.
My excitement's at a 6. And I think it will be a really good show. These pay-per-views tend to be great shows. There's no fatal 4-way, 4 pillars fatal 4-way here happening. So I think the show has a good chance of being good.
You so badly want MJF back. You like 2 of them now, the pillars.
Well, I've never not liked Darby.
Right, but you love the scapegoat.
Big scapegoat guy. I'm a big fan of him putting his hair up and squaring up. Big fan of that. Big. This sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but I'm actually not. His hair looks so much sarcastic. Better. Yeah. Hey, that's just my appeal. Let's move on. AEW Double or Nothing next week. We will, assuming Scotty's better, we'll be talking.
If I'm not better in a week, I'm gonna. Never mind.
Looks at me that has been sick for 4 weeks. So getting over sickness for 4 weeks. We will, assuming you're better, Scotty, we'll be doing a live instant reaction of Double or Nothing following the pay-per-view. We do have Monday off, so we could do it Monday morning if you wanted to, but we'll judge that as we get closer. But either way, there will be a reaction show to Double or Nothing from Scotty and I. It will be released at the very least on Monday. Because as soon as we end the instant reaction, if you want to watch it live, you can watch it live. Otherwise, I'm going right to bed and then I'm uploading it the next morning. But yeah, so we'll be talking about Double or Nothing, just Double or Nothing next week, either following the program or at some point early Monday morning. So yeah, AEW Double or Nothing next week. Let's talk about WWE, but we got a lot of different. We got 2 terrible topics, I would say, in regards to WWE to talk about. So we'll talk about those.
Sounds pretty on brand.
Sounds not. I would not say if you're a WWE hater, much like not necessarily like us, but tend to be like us. Then I would say not a good week. You got a lot of Janelle Grant lawsuit updates with WWE, Vince McMahon, and John Laurinaitis versus Janelle Grant lawsuit
All
update.
this, by the way, is going to be very new to me because I have not been on the Twitters. So
No worries. And of course, this Saturday is going to be another Saudi Arabia show for WWE. So not a great thing in my opinion for WWE, but it is what it is. So let's talk about the Janelle Grant lawsuit. This will be a lot newer news for Scotty. Vince McMahon files new statement of undisputed material facts in Janelle Grant lawsuit. Basically, this is a new court filing where Vince McMahon's and lawyers are saying that she is undisputed in nature and he reserves the right to introduce additional evidence. Quote, the defendant believes the material facts stated below are undisputed and conclusively resolve the forum dispute before the court. Should the court find it necessary to conduct a hearing on an issue, defendant respectfully reserves his right to introduce additional evidence that bears. Basically, I'm going to be, I reserve the right to do evidence, yada, yada, yada. There is an interesting aspect to all of the evidence is that also coming out this week is that Vince McMahon and his lawyers claim, Scotty, that they do have evidence saying that Janelle Grant was into the relationship with Vince McMahon, or at the very least into the relationship at one point in time, in the form of several text messages. Now, apparently, according to the lawyers, the text messages have been deleted by Vince McMahon, but also with 2024 technology, we can still look that up. So it's not like they're sadly when you delete something off your phone, it's not like it's actually deleted. So in some ways that's good, in some ways that's bad. But in this case, it's interesting. The text messages claim, and of course, I guess content warning, if anyone wants to know. I don't think the text messages have anything specifically, but there is content warning. So they claim, the lawyers claim, Mr. Vince McMahon's side say that Grant was living in the luxury multi-million-dollar building with another man during their entire relationship. They also talk about the former relationship of Grant and her fiance during the relationship, and they claim there's an entire text message chain between Grant and McMahon, which would show that Grant sent him sexually explicit images of herself and texted various things regarding that. 1, she was in love with him and she was the love of his life. 2, that he was her best friend. 3, that he wanted to have sex with him and provided graphic details. 4, that she fantasized about being having rough sex with him, basically. 5, that she wanted McMahon to watch her have sex with other people. And it goes on. Basically, everything that the lawsuit claims is that she was not into, that she was not compliant with, that she was not giving her consent with, claiming at one point in time in text messages that she was consent with it. The problem is with consent, obviously, is that now Janelle Grant could have been into this relationship at one point in time, but if it got too much for her, then she could have easily stopped giving consent or no longer been interested in the relationship. But because things were too far gone, then things continued, got rougher, yada, 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 how things went down in the initial lawsuit. So whether these text messages truly exist, you have to imagine that if these lawyers are saying they exist, they have to have them. They would have to get them. But otherwise, I don't know. It's the thing of consent. Things can change in relationship. Things always change in relationships. You can't really, I don't think this is the sort of thing of hard-nosed fact. She was into it for a month or whatever, and that means she was into it for the 3-4 years that the relationship lasted. Any thoughts on this sort of new side of Vince McMahon's case from him and his lawyers?
I hate Vince McMahon. I didn't know any, like I said, I didn't know any of that before coming on this show. Him deleting it,
that's fun.
A little suspect. Man, I just hope I hope she gets justice in all of this. It just gets worse and worse. Like, I feel like anytime something new comes from Vince or dickhead Laurinaitis, I do know the Laurinaitis stuff.
That he initially was like, yeah, Vince McMahon sucks, and now he's like, no, actually,
yeah, To me, doesn't that give away like that he was wrong? Like he's wrong.
I think that gives away something, but
Am I crazy? Like to me, you can't say all this and then be like, oh, never mind.
I think sadly that he can. I think that's
no, he can. I get that, but like, come off like an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Like you admit to one thing and then you're like, actually, I'm just gonna side with Vince. And, it's not shocking because this is Laurinaitis' entire life. But man, I just it gets worse and worse.
Well, let's add to that pile because it's not just John Laurinaitis and Vince McMahon, but as one of the not what's the opposite of defendant? All of a sudden I forgot. As the other side of the thing, WWE has finally given out a statement in regards to the lawsuit, following their memorandum for the lawsuit because again they are named in the lawsuit along with Vince and John Laurinaitis. And they are also continuing the other aspect of Vince McMahon's lawyer's case and their side of the case, which is that that because this is an NDA and that they signed an NDA, part of the NDA was that if there was any sort of legal issues that came up, it would compel the court to immediately go into arbitration, not go into court. WWE put out a filing. They said that same thing. Quote, WWE disputes Grant's allegations, but as a threshold matter, this dispute cannot be heard in court because Grant agreed to arbitrate her claims. WWE therefore moves to compel this action to arbitration. If the case moves to arbitration, that would mean that the case would move to private mediation and out of public court. Obviously, I guess they are the defendants. All three defendants in the lawsuit, WWE, McMahon, and John Laurinaitis, support the idea of this going into a private mediation and not court. If you're WWE, if you're Laurinaitis, maybe this is the reason you switch. You go into public court. Maybe there are things out there that you do not want to be leaked out, especially if you're WWE. The opposite part of that case, what Janelle Grant's lawyer has stated, basically is that we don't have to go into arbitration. We can go into public court because our argument is that you broke the NDA when you stopped paying Janelle Grant her basically hush money, right? So we don't have to go into arbitration. The NDA doesn't exist anymore because you broke it. So we don't have to deal with it. So that is sort of the case and sort of the conversations that are happening right now with this Janelle Grant lawsuit with WWE joining Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis officially now. Any thoughts on that, Scotty?
I'm not surprised at all. I kind of expected it because, again, it's against, she's against WWE as well. So it's only natural that they follow suit. It's a very unfortunate situation.
That side of the case, I think, obviously makes sense, of course, for WWE and all these places to go that way. They don't want this to be public, obviously.
No, not at all. Not at all. So yeah, it's not at the WWE side of things the least surprising, right? Like expected.
Yeah.
And I think everyone kind of felt that way. It's like, all right, we're just kind of waiting for them to say the expected. Though again, I guess Laurinaitis switching sides and joining Vince wasn't that surprising.
Yeah. So the next steps, obviously, before we even get to the public court, I think will be at some point. I think that the next big part of this is be at some point, some sort of judge assigned to this case will have to make a decision on whether or not they are upholding the NDA or not. Because whether it goes to arbitration, whether it goes to court is a matter of, does the NDA hold?
Right.
If the NDA holds, it's arbitration. If it doesn't hold, it can be court. Obviously, there are things that can stop it before it gets to court still, like settlements, which is all totally plausible. But, well, it is, that's the big update. That's the big response and seeming tactic from the defendant side. So that's our major update right now, Scotty. And this is going to thing that's going to be happening all the time, but we'll get to it, I guess, later whenever that judge makes that decision of NDA or not, no NDA. That will be the question.
Yep.
Also this weekend, Saudi Arabia.
Uh,
Saudi Arabia again. Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
I
King and
legitimately
Queen of the
don't
Ring.
know what this card is.
Well, guess what? I got a card for you. Don't worry. So, of course, we have the finals. Well, yeah, we have the finals of the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. The current semifinals, Scotty, I'll give to you right now. On the Raw side, we have the semifinals of Gunther versus Yeet.
Oh my god, that's like two terrifying differences of
Keep in
match
mind,
quality.
in alternate reality, this would have been Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov, and instead we get Gunther versus Yeet on the Raw side in the semifinals.
Question:
Yeah,
can Gunther leave the country for other shows yet? Wasn't that a problem?
I don't know if that was a problem.
I thought that was a problem. Like he couldn't not he. There's a reason.
You know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Because like remember when he was champion, he was never on the international pay-per-views.
Was he not? Didn't he do Saudi or something last year? Let's see. I'm looking through his matches. He did work Canada, but I don't know if we're counting that. He did work Money in the Bank in England against Matt Riddle.
He did Italy recently.
He worked Mustafa Ali at the Saudi show last year.
All right, so he's good. Okay. He did the UK as well.
Yeah. So that's the semifinals on the Raw side. On SmackDown side, Randy Orton versus Tama Tonga.
That is hilarious.
Cutter versus Cutter.
I would like Gunther versus Randy Orton. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, am I fearful of Jey Uso versus Tama Tonga.
Hey, Bloodline versus Bloodline a little bit?
Overrated tag team member versus overrated tag team member?
Huh?
I saw the video of Tama Tonga doing that or whatever the fuck it was.
We use the Tasmanian Devil.
That's all I saw from WWE over my vacation, and I thought it was very funny. For the love of my eyes, please give me Gunther versus Randy Orton.
Yeah.
I could deal with Gunther versus Tama Tonga, I guess. I could deal with that.
Sure.
But that would be weird. So I think Randy and Gunther's pretty big.
Square of match possibilities.
If they're trying to rebuild the King of the Ring tournament, that's Gunther versus Randy's as big a final as you could do. I think.
I agree.
With Gunther winning, obviously.
You're not interested in Yeet versus Randy Orton?
I'm not interested in many things that involve Yeet.
Where's No Yeet? Where's No Yeet? Is he
He's hurt. He's hurt. Yeah. He's not dead. He's hurt.
Okay. Thank you for the clarifying.
Thankfully for him, he is not dead.
Let's talk about Queen of the Ring semifinal matches here. On the Raw side, Lyra Valkyria versus Io Sky in the semifinals. It'll be fine. That could be good.
I'm gonna have a problem if Lyra Valkyria wins.
And
she's
then
bad.
On the SmackDown side, Nia Jax, who just recently beat her tag partner, versus Bianca Belair.
Wow, there could be a really great match between Io and Bianca Belair. Or an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I will say this. I think this Punnett square of match combos is better than the King of the Ring one. It doesn't have. There's no objective stinkers. And a couple years ago, I would have said Nia Jax is an objective stinker, but since her return, her output has
Lyra
been
Valkyria
better.
Versus Nia Jax sounds like an absolute nightmare.
To me, it's better than Yeet versus Tama Tonga. You can't tell me that's close. You can't tell me it's not better. That's like that's so much
I don't
better.
know if it's better, but it's definitely not. It's pretty close. Lyra Valkyria is not good.
She's fine.
And Nia Jax is still not great to me.
I think she has improved in the sense of she's doing less, which is working for what she is.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is they're teasing me Bianca and Io, so it's like
Yeah, there's no way. Actuality, you're gonna get these actual dream matches. There's no way.
No. Gunther versus Randy and Io versus Bianca would be so perfect that there's no way we get both.
I think that's fair. You might have a better answer of this, Scotty. Jeff Bugenhagen in the chat. Isn't Io not allowed in Saudi? I don't know any of that.
She was in Saudi last year.
Yeah, I thought so as well. I thought she was
because that's when Kyrie came back, right?
I believe so.
Unless something changed.
Unless that was an Asuka match or something. I don't think it was.
Let me double check.
I think it was Io.
Let me take a look. Ski. Yeah, she was a crown jewel.
Yeah.
Where she defeated Bianca Belair.
Oh, so running it back. Well, that hurts it. I think that hurts the chances. Running it back the match from last year.
I think Io versus Nia is an interesting match.
Heel versus heel?
Well, Io can be treated as a babyface pretty easily.
That's fair.
She was in. Unless something changed, she's allowed in Saudi.
Lyra Valkyria versus either. I don't know. There was a report at one point in time of like this idea of Triple H being like, I want to push forward the next generation. And I don't know who he thinks the next generation is. Is it Gunther? Is it
Lyra Valkyria?
Lyra Valkyria? Is it Tama Tonga? You know, who does he consider the next generation? You know,
is it Tama Tonga?
I don't know. Tama Tonga is a nice young new wrestler on the roster. So
I get it. You love Tama Tonga. I know.
Next up, we also have the WWE Women's World Title match: Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan.
Interesting. Becky's good.
I saw that in Atlanta day one. Remember that pay-per-view? That match stunk. Yeah.
I don't know if
they didn't have good chemistry. They didn't have good chemistry at that. But they did have a match this year that was better. So I don't know.
It'll be fine. Becky's winning, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Unless she didn't re-sign.
Oh, okay. That gives us some interesting stuff in this match. If Liv wins, they should
have Liv win and then do like a swerve thing. Not Strickland.
Where she knocks her skull in through concrete blocks. Remember Swerve? Remember when Swerve did that with Keith Lee or whatever it was?
Oh, remember Keith Lee? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, AEW's got a lot of injured people.
I texted you a picture of their injured roster list. I was like, you can make your own promotion with this list of people. It was like 30 some odd people or something like that.
And a lot of them are like important people.
But yeah, I think Becky wins. I think you're right. I think it would be interesting if Liv won. Because maybe that leads to a Becky contract thing. And who knows? Becky Lynch showing up at Forbidden Door. Ooh, very interesting. WWE Intercontinental title triple threat match. Sami Zayn defending his title against Chad Gable and Bronson Reed.
Why is Jonah here?
Because he got himself involved in the feud in the build up to WrestleMania, I think. And then now
I didn't invite Jonah.
He's still involved in this one.
I mean, this should be good.
I agree. I think it should be a good match.
Sammy's winning, though.
10-minute, sub 10-minute match, I'll be into it.
There's no way there's 5 matches on this card, dude.
We're in the new era of WWE. It's like 5 or 6.
I don't know what that means.
It is 5. We're in the Paul Levesque era. We're in the Triple H era. 5 matches or less. Maybe 6. That's
maybe wins.
Yeah. And a WWE title, WWE Universal title, whatever the freaking thing is called. Not
this is a double title match.
No, it is not. It is no longer a U.S. title match. It is just for the Universal Championship. Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul.
Is this the part where I say this will probably be good?
I agree. I think it will be pretty good.
I don't know. Cody versus AJ was not expected. Like, I didn't expect AJ to have a good match. He did. And I think Logan Paul right now is probably better than AJ Styles is. The last time Logan Paul was in Saudi Arabia challenging for the WWE title, he had maybe Roman's last great match before he lost to Cody. So think about that.
Think about that.
Do I like
Paul.
Logan Paul the person? No. Do I think he's a good wrestler? Yes.
Do I think he's a great wrestler? Also, yes. do I think he's one of the best wrestlers in WWE? He's up there.
Sure is.
He's up there.
Can you imagine Logan Paul versus Gunther?
Have they not done that much yet?
I don't think they have.
Is Gunther afraid?
I'm honestly, Logan Paul probably is. Logan Paul probably is like, I don't want to get chopped.
Let's see. I'm gonna check my rankings here. Where is Logan Paul on my list of WWE? I don't know about WWE wrestlers, but all of current wrestlers. He is 145th.
Yeah, that's pretty high, all things considered.
Yeah, I don't know
that much.
Yeah, he is. I think he's only had like 1 or 2 matches, probably 2. He is up. He is tied with Carmelo Hayes, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, and Baron Corbin.
That doesn't sound as good when you say that, but okay.
But he's had probably like 2 matches, so I'll give him a little bit of space. Hard to compare. All right, and that's it. That's the show. That's the Saudi show.
Oh, I thought you meant it was our show. I was like, oh, okay.
No. That's the Saudi show. I don't really care about discussing it anymore. It's the Saudi Arabia show. I never like talking about these Saudi Arabia shows. I never advertise that we're going to discuss the Saudi Arabia shows because I don't want that to be involved. I hate these things. I hate that they exist. We're going to talk about it, I guess, at this point, but it should be a nice, interesting show, I guess, that we'll find out the full card after Friday Night SmackDown, also in Saudi Arabia. Can we also talk about, I guess,
SmackDowns in Saudi?
SmackDowns in Saudi. Can we also talk about this real quick, Scotty? I don't know if also, by the way, I think I'm doing a smaller arena for SmackDown. I didn't think about that. But there is discussion about the Saudi Arabia Sports Authority guy of trying to get Royal Rumble or WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. Thoughts?
No.
Why not?
It's Saudi Arabia. So
number one.
That's part one. Part two is it's Saudi Arabia. And 3, I think we've reached a good spot where the big 4 are in the US and everything else is international. Also, don't ruin the Royal Rumble. Thank you.
I agree. But I don't think we've seen. Well, they did the greatest Royal Rumble. You know, Braun Strowman come back with the title.
Yeah, just do that again. You have Braun Strowman defend his green belt. He's still with the company. I mean, he got released, right, at one point?
Yes.
That's crazy.
He got released. Now he's back. He's back and still the same.
Why did they release Braun and Bray Wyatt?
If I recall at the time, there was conversation of it being sort of a money thing. It was like we're paying these guys too much for their output.
Bray make bank though for merch.
Yeah, but I don't think they really care about merch.
They should, because merch makes them money.
Yeah, but compared to like TV ratings and all
yeah, whatever. This company stinks.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's talk about companies that stink less. Let's talk about Stardom, Flash, and Champions. Let's talk about that.
Stink less. That's insane.
I don't know how you feel, but this show, I thought I didn't watch the full show. I watched the 4 matches that I previewed last week that were announced last week. Because look, if they wanted me to care about the rest of the card, they would have announced all the matches sooner.
Oh, buddy, let's talk about it. They don't like to announce cards anymore.
No,
it is no anymore. Sorry, the new regime has never liked to announce cards.
Paul Levesque era of Stardom involves not announcing cards. Imagine is announcing 4 matches for a card and then announcing 5, 6 more than the amount you announced previously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches, doubling your card immediately after.
I I didn't even care to preview it this week. I was like, and you know what's funny? I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this last night. I was like, Marigold, once they have their show this week, just they're on tour. Like it's no like pause. It's just they're going.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if they just announced like the next month of cards. Because they probably have them all locked in and just be like, see, this is how you announce cards ahead of time.
Rossi's like, I'm going. I'm booking. I got all this shit ready.
That's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one that booked the cards. And it's proving, as I sit here and you told me you previewed this show. I previewed this show 2 weeks ago on my show because I was going on vacation, obviously. I was like, there's 2 matches. Here you go.
And when I woke up on Sunday, there was a 4th. It was the TBS title match. I was going in at 3 matches.
Which, very random.
Very random.
As is.
Yep. We'll talk about it. How much of the show did you watch?
Everything besides the gauntlet. You could not pay me to watch an hour-long gauntlet match.
All right. Then I guess we'll start from the beginning and skip and just briefly.
AK, I watched it late, so I wasn't going to go back and watch. I just know who won.
Let's start off with the actual show proper, not the pre-show match with Hina versus
pre-show.
Yeah, there's a pre-show match, Hina versus Rana Gagami, that went to a 10-minute time limit draw.
That's hilarious. Went to a 10-minute time limit draw.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, speaking of time limit draws, the next match after a 10-minute time limit draw is a 15-minute time limit draw with Natsupoi and Suzu Suzuki. Oh, wait, Natsupoi and Suzu Suzuki. This is wrong. Natsupoi and Starlight Kid versus Suzu Suzuki and Mai Sarai. Cage match has Suzu Suzuki versus Suzu Suzuki.
Boy, that'd be a sick match. Yeah, it's wrong. That's very funny. Was this announced when you previewed this?
No.
Oh, well, it was really good.
The top 4 were announced.
Oh, okay. Well, this was really good. Got 15 minutes. I think the best parts of Stardom post Rossi are the tag team matches and Mayu stuff. So this lives up to it. Starlight Kid's back to wearing the old Starlight Kid gear, which is always lovely. She's back to being happy and stuff. She kind of looks like a Marigold wrestler with the color she was wearing with gold and white and stuff.
I'm sure it's unrelated.
I love the I do love her and Natsupoi together. I mean, Natsupoi dyed her hair yellow, which was kind of
yellow, and then she had like these insane extensions as well.
Yeah, her hair good. Yeah, it's long. And Crazy Star rules. So there you go. It was good. I do like, and I think I've talked about this on this show. I like the idea of having a really good opener and then getting to the rest of your card.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's something Japan should do more, rather than the undercard. That like New Japan does, where it's like, oh, here's a bunch of
random ass
tags that no one cares about. I think doing one and then that is a better idea.
Yeah, I will say, I feel like the new regime, the Paul Levesque era of Stardom, I think I joke about that, but also thinking about it, like it feels.
People will get angry at you for that.
I don't care. Come at me, bro. I think the cards are more, like you sort of said, like I feel like they are more Americanized in that sense of like having a interesting match to card at the jump and then doing the rest of it versus a more Japanese traditional style of the more exciting matches near the bottom and you do whatever at the top. I think it is the new regime has gotten to that extent of like there's a little bit more, there's something exciting at the jump and then the rest of the card and then exciting stuff at the bottom.
The new regime doesn't make much sense to me, but yeah.
Well, it's because it's Americanized Paul Levesque here. Come at me, bro. Micah defeats Hanako in 9 minutes and 41 seconds.
It was fine.
Just fine.
Your world champion doing this little match.
Curtain jerker over here. In and out, real quick. Second match of the show.
Not the real world champion, not the real red belt champion. Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought that the red belt and the white belts were from just Stardom this week. And it was very funny.
It shows how old the Stardom fandom base, or the I guess non-Stardom fandom base, how I would say old, young.
How dare he copy from Stardom? Have we considered that he made those belts? But he also did a copy from Stardom, obviously. But
because he made those belts, and also he copied from Stardom, copied from what was it, AJW?
Yeah.
so I mean,
he's a history freak. What do you want?
God, if only there was some sort of Stardom historical podcast. Stardom Road every other week. Fukigen Death, Rina, and Azusa Naba defeat the team of Mina Shirakawa, Zaina, and Waka Tsukiyama.
Mina now wrestles in American form, where it's like autopilot.
Paul Levesque era. Continue.
Absolute autopilot. I'm watching her. I'm like, man, there was a time this time last year. I mean, Flash of Champions, she lost the Wonder, but this time last year, she was like really great, having these great matches. But I do not feel that way currently.
Yeah. How'd you like Inaba popping in here for a quick?
I
know this is
so,
the other sister. We the sisters are great, but we all know which sister is really good, right?
Tomoka.
Yeah.
This one. Well, Zeus is 15, so
16.
Sorry, she got older. I have.
Please.
Sorry. Shame on me.
I thought only Rossi liked the younger wrestlers. Is that a fun thing to bring back right now?
No.
Paul Levesque era? Continue.
No. Anyways, the that is a Joshi historic thing. I'm not going into it. But anyways, I must not have paid attention because I did not know Azusa was in this match. And I was like, oh, that's random. Why is she here? I always like seeing the Inabas. So that's about my whole takeaway.
I have to imagine it's a sort of, well, I don't know. It feels like it's a send up to try to lead to I believe it's confirmed, Maika versus Tomoyaki Inaba at Just Tub Out. Is that match confirmed yet?
That is confirmed, yes.
I like to think that's a send up to that match, but was there any sort of tease to anything like that at all?
Nope. Zeus was just there, buddy.
Yeah. There's the gauntlet match, which you can just watch about, which you didn't talk about real quickly. It was Oedo Tai, Momo Watanabe, Tekla, and Natsuka Tora that won the gauntlet match, and they are the number one contenders for the Artists of Stardom title.
Yep. This match was it was really long. I didn't. Well, I watched the first one, and I was like,
the first fall.
I watched the first fall, and I was like, oh my god, this is wicked long. I'm just gonna skip to the end. That's what I did. But I don't like big gauntlet matches. I don't like them.
Mm-hmm. Especially multi-man faction, these sort of things. Yeah, I get you.
Where they do their full entrance and pose in the ring.
Do you think Oedo Tai will beat Empress next ENV?
I think it makes sense. I think they are obviously behind the Tora, Momo, Tekla trio.
I would say especially Tekla.
Someone's got to be behind it because I'm not. Yeah, I think they do. Because I think getting the title off of Maika as well is smart. Just like Maika doing the two and then not defending either on the show, by the way. Neither one. She has 2 belts, defended neither.
That's my champ. That's my champ right there.
I think it makes sense to have them win it. Yeah.
Next up, high-speed title match. Saya Kamitani defeats Saida, 11 minutes and 10 seconds. I thought this was pretty good.
Listen, we've just agreed that this is now the mid-card belt of this company, and that is that. That's how I felt watching this. I thought it was good. Thought Ida was really good. And I think Kamitani was bumping her butt off for Ida. It was really the Ida showcase.
As she should. It should be the Ida showcase. We got a star. We got a star right there, waiting around. Let's push some Ida. She's so strong. She's throwing jackets into the rafters. That's how strong she is.
You good?
Yeah, I like doing little bits. I like doing
That
little bits.
was a hell of a bit, to be fair.
Thank you.
That was I just looked at you.
I thought Saya looked better. Kamatani still hasn't been like that. What year was that? 2022?
2022. Yeah.
She hasn't really been that ever since her injury, but I like the high speed, so it's nice. It's nice to see. It's nice to see with Kamatani something else in the high speed title division, even if it's becoming a mid card title belt. It's nice to see like new faces.
Want a complaint?
Sure.
You want my complaint?
Sure.
This isn't really. I guess this isn't that bad of a complaint, but I think actually no, that's not a complaint. It's a critique moving forward for the high speed. I think you should just change the name. I think you should just change it. Change the
mid speed.
No. Like clearly you don't want to do high speed anymore.
Sure.
And the division includes a Starlight Kid who doesn't want to challenge for the belt anymore.
One.
Azumi, who I think is way past it.
Correct. Two.
May Sarah, who you took the belt away from
randomly,
and like Saki Kashima, because Natsupoi hasn't been in the high speed division for years now. So like, I think you should just move on, replace the belt with something new, and call it that. Like that may be a hot take because people love the high speed. I love the high speed,
but it hasn't been what it's been.
No. What like May Sarah and Hazuki had that great match this year, and then they were like, "Ha, let's ruin that."
Where's Hazuki?
She was in the gauntlet.
Okay.
She is tag champ, and they didn't defend on this show either. See my problems? I mean, this last year's championship show is better than last year's, but if you look at last year's card, it's kind of terrifying.
Well, let's just do a different name. Let's, instead of speed, what if we did high passion?
Sorry, passion is Nanai's.
My apologies.
Can't be given. Nanai works for a different company. Passion belongs one place, buddy.
Speaking about passion, tag team match, best friends, Arisa Nakajima and Tsukasa Fujimoto defeat Hanan and Mayu Iwatani. This match, I think, was my match of the show.
This was easily my match of the show. I heard it was always like a lock to me that Best Friends was winning because they're obviously setting up the Mayu Tsukasa match, which I don't know where it's happening because Tsukasa said the next time they face is going to happen in Ice Ribbon. So that's weird. But no matter what, they'll have a great match. And this was a great match. This was the match I was most looking forward to. Could have shut the show off after this, and I would have been perfectly fine. Yeah, it was just very physical. It was exactly what you expect from Best Friends. They obviously rule as a Nakajima kind of wraps up her career here in the next few months. She's still so good that it makes me sad that she is retiring. But yeah, if you're looking for a match to watch from this show, this would be the one I'd pick.
Yeah, I think this is easily. I went 3 3/4 on this one. I thought it was really, really, really good. So good, in fact. Next up, I see Connor Houston in the chat. Yes, Scott agreed. Mina Americanized. I want to point that out. And also, they later said, Sai Kamatani so far isn't the same as when she's delivering those really good white belt matches, but I will give her more time. I don't know how much.
Got rid of the Phoenix Splash, so
yeah, and she's trying to change her style a little bit, but like I don't know.
Now she's doing high speed matches, so
how much time? I guess is my question. She's been back
since her shoulder, right?
Yes, and she would return November of 2023. It looks like.
Yeah,
she's been wrestling.
She did tag team stuff, so I think singles wise she has a little more time, but not too much. I think like next defense.
I'm at the point where I need to start seeing it. I need to start seeing something. That's where I'm at. Messiah Kamatani specifically. Next up, AWTBS title match. Willow Nightingale defeats Tam Nakano, 17 minutes and 9 seconds. It was said in the press conference to lead up to this match that I believe it was the president of Stardom that said this, that Tony Khan really wanted this to happen immediately, to be booked immediately and happen on this show, which really was telling for Double or Nothing for me. To give Willow a title Stardom. But we got it here. Willow got a successful defense against Tam Nakano. I thought this was a really good match. And all I sat here thinking was this match exists for me, in my opinion, to showcase Tam Nakano to American audiences. And did it succeed? I think it might have.
This match was good.
I think it was good. And
very physical, actually. More
physical, it was, which
Mm-hmm.
it tends to be Tam Nakano matches when she's on.
Willow did really well. I thought they actually did really well considering they never had faced in any match before. Obviously, like, listen, here's my take on AEW and Stardom now that we sit here a few months later after it began. If you're gonna send Willow over, and I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
I like Willow. It's just really weird because, like, I think having Willow beat your top star, your top star in this random impromptu match, isn't the booking choice I'd make.
That's my other part. Is step one is they're obviously showcasing Tam to the American audiences, but two, at the expense of her losing. I don't know. I don't know.
Wow. AEW wrestlers beating the top stars of the two Japanese companies that they work with in the past month. That's crazy. Shout out Tetsuya Naito.
Yeah, I don't know. Hear you in the chat. Fashion Champions was the first pay-per-view I missed in 2 years. Okada better improve his booking because he's not winning me over.
Yeah! Say it! Say it with your chest!
And the main event of the show, Wonder of Stardom title match, Saori Anou defeats Ami Sourei. Same sort of thing. I thought this was a really good match that went on for way too long. It was nearly 25 minutes. It was like if it ended like 10 minutes sooner, I would be like, this match is great. But it was like it just kept going and going and going.
Yeah, it was long. It was a long match. I felt it. Obviously, I'm not the biggest Ami Sourei fan in the world. I do think this was one of her better showings.
She did those elbows way better than Shota Umino did at Strong at the Strong pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think here's the problem now. We have shown that it's clearly going to be Saori and Natsupoi. They've shown it like 3 different times now. But we're just not doing it. We're just going to we're just pushing it off more and more. Saw it after this match. They went up to each other and Saori's like, yeah, I don't want to face you yet. So that just tells me that every defense Saori has until Natsupoi challenges is useless. That's not what you want to do with a champion. And that's where we are. So it's hard to invest in the matches.
Completely agree. Well, let's talk about that Stardom Fashion Champions. I don't know. I mean, I think I talked about this in sort of in the preview.
Conversion.
Yes, the next sort of show, other than New Blood, which is his own thing in a weird way.
They have some random show in Nagoya on pay-per-view. I have no idea what that is. But
do you know when? Because it's not listed on their Wikipedia.
June 8th.
Oh, interesting.
It's literally called Stardom in Nagoya.
Okay, that could be something.
I'm gonna guess it's just like a tag title match.
The Conversion is in June 22nd in Tokyo.
Yeah, no clue what that is.
In the Yogi National Gymnasium. Never even heard of this building. And then the next.
By the way,
months later is the five.
I don't usually care about attendance, but they had like 950 for this show in the Yokohama Budokan.
Ooh,
yeah.
Oof.
Let's talk about the show that is damn near doubling that inside Gorgon Hall.
Yeah. Let me see if I can look up recent attendance in the Budokan. Great Voyage in Yokohama, 977.
All right, so pretty similar.
Similar to to Noah. Noah beat them here, right? You said 950.
Yeah, something like that.
They did 1,500. Stardom did 1,500 for night 1 of Cinderella tournament in this building in March.
That show had sorry.
It did.
Big difference now.
And then Dragon Gate had a show where they did 2,000 in this building with
I don't believe that. They
title
lie.
match. Luis Monte versus Shun Skywalker. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Maybe.
And then Stardom 960 for the New Year's Stars show at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, not great. Not great. Though, when you announce the full card days before the show actually happens, what do you expect?
Yeah.
And it didn't have a world title match.
I think, Cinderella tournament did big numbers, but that, you're giving
Sayori versus Ami ain't bringing people in the building.
Yeah. And that was also first round. It wasn't even like the second, that wasn't even like the finals or anything.
Yeah, they had the Poi match, the Poi return match.
Natsupoi, Sayori Inu versus Hash and Suri. Yeah. Stephanie Vaquier also showed up in a 6-woman.
Mm-hmm.
And
what was the main event?
ENV versus Mayu Itani and Tam Nakano versus Queen's Quest.
Oh, yeah, they randomly put that in the main event. I remember.
Yeah, so it's not a great show.
But tournaments always do well.
Yeah, but 1,500, that's nothing to sneeze at.
No.
Pretty good. All right, then let's move on and talk about real quickly. Marigold Fields Forever is a show that's happening this Monday. This is the spin-off show. Not even spin-off show. This is the pirate. No, this is the.
How dare you?
What was the term? The not Steeler, but the guy that took away all of our stars. Can you
pay some respect, please?
I forget, what was the term that they used for Rossi?
Who? The poach? Oh, he poached?
Yeah, the poacher. This is the poacher show. Do you
pay some damn respect?
This is how I like my eggs. Poached.
You pay some damn respect?
Rossi Ogawa's new promotion, Marigold Fields Forever. Dreamstar Fighting Marigold is the promotion. The show in Korakuen Hall, Marigold Fields Forever.
Sold out in Korakuen Hall on Wrestle Universe. We'll get to them in a moment. On Wrestle Universe, happening this Monday. Get to them, you mean Cyberfight?
Yeah. I think Marigold plays a part in all that, to be honest. Well, they're part of Wrestle Universe, so they're not. I don't think I can. I guess they're not owned by Cyberfight, so I think that's part of it. But we'll talk about it, I guess, as well. The card real quickly, I'll run it down. Singles match of Nai Takahashi versus Victoria Yuzuki. Singles match Miku Aono versus Naon Ichikawa. Singles match Chiaki versus Mirai. Tag team match Misamatsu and Natsumi Shozuki versus Chika Goto and Kyoko Amare. I think I'm nailing all these pronunciations. Tag team match Zaya Steele versus Mai Sakurai. And Mai Sakurai versus Myla Grace and Nagisa Nozaki. I believe Zaya Steele was she the girl from MLW? Yeah. She's a girl from MLW, and Myla Grace, I believe, is from England.
She was in Ireland. She was in NXT UK for a few matches.
Well, good for her. good for her popping up in NXT for a hot second. And then the main event, Julia and Utami Hayashishida versus Suri and Bozilla.
Damn right.
A Dutch wrestler who was trained by
Alpha Female.
Who was she trained by?
Jazzy Gabbert, Alpha Female, and someone else.
Ulf Herman as well, apparently, according to Cage Match. Not a showstopper of a card. There's no titles, obviously, even though we know that.
It didn't have to be, buddy.
It doesn't have to be because you're right. It is the first show. It doesn't really matter. It's sold out.
Sold out before the card was announced.
People are very intrigued about what the show promotion is going to look like. I think the more important thing when it comes to attendance and business and all that stuff will be the second show. But all of that will also be dependent on this one. So I don't know. I'm gonna watch it. I'm intrigued about what the show could be. It's also the first show. You got to have a great first impression. How do you feel about Marigold Fields Forever? Real quickly, far in the
So,
chat, Bo effing Zilla.
oh fucking!
What do you think about Marigold Fields Forever?
It's like
So
the
far?
only thing giving me life in wrestling these days.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm like dying.
Well, you are dying also.
Yeah, too. But like,
with either the flu or COVID.
It's pretty simple. Like you could see directions they're going before the show even starts. Like obviously the destination is going to be Julia and Sari. I don't think Sari could fucking hide that anymore. Like she says it flat out.
Do you think a destination could be Julia and Utami, or do you think the clock is ticking on that one?
I mean, I'm sure they'll get that in before Julia leaves.
Doomsday? Before Doomsday?
Before Julia's gone. Like that's the match that's never happened. You kind of have to get it in. But yeah, I'm very excited for this show. I think there's a lot of that entire roster is looking to prove something, and it's gonna have a lively, loud crowd in Corkin that always raises up a show. It's sold out to the rafters. Like this, they opened the actual balcony. Corkin rarely opens the balcony anymore for fans. So I'm very excited for this show, and I think it's going to be well worth everyone checking out. I just think it's yes, the card doesn't jump off, but like I said, it didn't need to. They sold out the show. They can start their stories from this show rather than, all right, we need to pack this building for our first show. It'll be interesting to see how they do the second Corkin next month and so on. Like that's the attendance I'm looking at. I don't really, it doesn't matter what they do in Shinkiba or like random location number 2.
Sure.
It's what they do at the big shows.
It matters to some extent. Like if they drew 100 people in that, and
I'm sure they'll do fine in those. It's mostly my like,
but you're right. Corrigan's going to be the real temperature check.
Yeah. And if they can do good again next time around, then there's momentum there. And you're building towards big matches, big shows. It'll be interesting to see like Bozilla. No one knows who this woman is, but she's become like
she's the main event.
She's become a fan favorite just because like there's so much uncertainty. She's huge. Like she's
her name is Bozilla. She's got
per cage match. She's 5'11", 205 pounds.
Oh my god! And to be clear, if I'm not mistaken, we're talking not like huge, but like jacked huge, right?
Yeah, jacked.
She's like jacked. She's massive.
Yeah. So like if she can be, I think she's gonna be very green in the first match, but she's working with Julia, Utami, and Sari.
She'll be hidden.
She'll be hidden in the right way. So I'm very excited for the show. She's only 20 years old, so like this is clearly someone that they're hoping for. And Rossi's always done really good at booking the, monster type giants. Look at Megan Bain, right? Be nice to see Megan Bain wrestle somewhere that isn't GCW, by the way. But it's fine. I see you. There's Bozilla. My favorite part about Bozilla is there's like 2 photos in existence of this woman. And that's that one, and then like another one where she's doing like the pose. I'm very excited for the show, and it's on Wrestle Universe, so like that just makes everything better.
You have to think the video quality should be great, so that should be
Also, there's English commentary.
Oh,
I thought Rossi didn't like English commentary.
That's what I've heard
in live shows.
Yeah, I heard he hated English commentary.
Interesting. Makes you think. But yeah, there's English comms, so I know that is of interest to many people. So I kind of want to let you know.
Do you think there will be any sort of surprises? I mean, you did mention Megan Bain. She's conspicuous by her absence in the world of wrestling.
I doubt Megan Bain. I think Megan Bain's wrestling like GCW or something like today.
Yeah, I know. WWE, is there any WWE popping up? I know maybe Asuka's faking a knee injury so she can show up at Marigold.
I think something absolutely insane would have to happen for Asuka to wrestle in a
Fair
roster.
point. Fair point.
But like, you never know. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a surprise. Like that's kind of the whole thing. I'm excited for them to introduce the belts and things like that. I feel like you want to set up kind of the roadmap for the next few months so that if this WWE stuff ends up being real, why not do it at the very first show in some sort of way, whether it's
the most eyes,
pre-recorded video or something like that.
I agree.
The world will be watching.
I agree. And it's on Monday, and I don't know. I mean, like, well, I guess, yeah, EO is not needed until Monday. Well, hold on. hold on. EO
definitely will not be there.
EO won't be there. Asuka's supposedly injured and definitely won't be there. The only person that could show up in person, I guess, would be Kyrie, which is plausible, right?
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be crazy.
Yeah. But I guess we'll see. Let's move on. Cyberfight, real quickly. As we round out our show real quickly. Cyberfight had a press conference this past week. Various news came about it, like Yasugaki Okamoto is the new president of Cyberfight. I forget who also is the new. There's someone else that's new that moved around. But also Keiji Muto is back as the official scouting advisor for Pro Wrestling Noah, WWE Hall of Famer Keiji Muto, and maybe contract owner of WWE, Keiji Muto, as official scouting advisor for Pro Wrestling Noah. They also announced that Uka Sasaki, who was that sort of former MMA guy, has signed with Noah, and Eita has signed with Noah as well. And then it was also announced via this Noah press conference, this Cyberfight Noah sort of press conference, that Cyberfight wants to, quote, strengthen the relationship with WWE, with a whole video, a whole graphic, with WWE symbol and everything, and with the official scouting advisor of Pro Wrestling Noah. Scotty, what do you think this means? Cyberfight, no, is this just going to be limited to Noah? Is this Cyberfight as a whole? Will this stretch into other Wrestle Universe companies? I mentioned Marigold, not owned by Cyberfight, not affiliated in that sense, just on the streaming platform. But we also know that they have some WWE relationship because of the Julia stuff. How far-reaching is this? And do you think this is cause for alarms?
I mean, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, like other people did. I just saw the WWE thing and I thought that was kind of funny. Like, what are the chances WWE has a clue that they said that during their big press conference? Because WWE has so many working parts. I did find it interesting, but I just didn't find it that big of a deal because it's like, it's very apparent that all these Japanese companies want to work with the main promotions in America now. And I don't know what WWE would be in involvement with Cyberfight. What are they going to sign away? DDT's top. Oh, wait a minute. AEW did that. They could take Noah's top wrestler though, huh? Right?
Kaito? You're talking about Kaito Kiyomiya?
Yeah, they could take him.
Somebody that supposedly during the WWE Hall of Fame press tour for Keiji Muto was going to be assisting Muto and going to America to help him out. To help him out around all these WWE people.
It's one of those things where it's like it remains to be seen. Obviously, Cyberfight has the big time relationship with Abima, who is the WWE source in Japan of airing.
So, a television company, right?
Yeah. So like partly that comes into play.
Are they with the new Netflix deal? I know
I have no idea.
I know a bunch, if not all, of the international stuff is tied into Netflix as well. I don't know if Abima or Japan as a region was a part of that, or at least Asia or whatever was a part.
The Abima thing's pretty new.
Yeah,
So,
if I recall,
so
it was still fairly new, so I don't know exactly.
I'm guessing for now it's not. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll see if I can look up what that is.
I don't know. It doesn't affect me anymore. I think I'm kind of numb to it. It's like every company in Japan's working with America companies now. So I'll wait to see. I don't want to like over exaggerate what it could mean yet.
I think the biggest concern that people had, and obviously people talk about AEW's taking your top stars and all that sort of stuff. I think the biggest concern people have is that, it's one thing to take your top stars. It's one thing to, you look at the UK, destroy an entire scene.
Right.
I don't, going after Noah and all these things is not really going to affect. It will affect New Japan, but not really affect them because New Japan's the top dog. But it will certainly hurt the whole Puro scene, and possibly with Tokyo Joshi Pro and everything, possibly hurt the Joshi scene as well. I think that is the biggest concern, is this can hurt the scene, because, like I said, like AEW may hurt a promotion, but WWE hurts scenes. So I think that's the biggest concern that I personally have about this sort of thing. When you let the rats run the kitchen, you don't always get a 5-star fresh cuisine, unless of course you get a 5-star French cheese board, but that's a different topic for another day.
Concern makes sense. Like for me, like when the WWE Marigold stuff popped up, I wasn't really affected because like clearly the relationship there is partly just Julia's existence.
Mm-hmm.
With Noah, you do kind of worry, but I mean, they've had a relationship that dates back years now, because obviously WWE had sent Kenta for Marufuji's anniversary match once.
Nakamura for the Great Bye-Bye.
So it's interesting to think. I mean, if Noah can keep getting Shinsuke over, then they happily will, because I mean, do you remember what that did for them? Like, that was huge for them. Obviously, the match was like whatever, because there's Great Muta moving at half speed and Shinsuke just doing the vibes. But it was the biggest match of the year in Japan last year. So partly you think of it that way, and it's like, well, we'll see. But I understand the fear because it's WWE. That's just what happens.
I do see a thing that says all WWE stuff will begin on Netflix internationally beginning in 2025. I'm just trying to find what the definitions of the international deal, and I can't really find it. Oh, here's a quote in Wrestling Observer. That might help. No, that doesn't help me. Well, the international rights going to streaming in all international markets. That's the Observer quote. So that would presume that they would no longer be working with Abema, that it will be Netflix for WWE. So this is sort of continuing that relationship, I guess, with Abema in some sense. So I guess we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I have concerns. It's not great, but
it's only natural too. But I'm not. I don't know what it means. So
yeah, it's not a great first step per se, but also it's like we don't really know what the first step is.
Right.
Keiji Muto as scouting reporter is like, I don't know about that one. I'll say that. I'm immediately I'm more concerned about Keiji Muto as official scouting advisor than anything else.
My king.
My apologies, sir.
Come on now. He's in our opening video.
That is true. He is in the opening video, but so is Evil. Oh, the other thing I was going to say about this is
what do you mean by that, buddy? What do you mean? So is Evil.
Well, I'm talking about our kings, the kings of the show. The other thing is, I don't know if you saw this, of how online you were this past week. Did you see WWE fans' reactions to the Cyberfight news?
Yeah. Kenta versus CM Punk. Here we go, baby.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Can't freaking wait.
A guy who has not wrestled full time in Noah for, I don't know, a decade at this point.
Man, Fadeaway Media nailed that one.
I know exactly which account you're talking about. Oh, that guy's bad.
I think that haircut. Never mind.
Let's move on. Last topic, real quickly. Speaking of Cyberfight, they have One Night Dream 2 happening this Wednesday, also in Corkin Hall. The problem with One Night Dream 2, Scotty, is for me, this does not live up to One Night Dream 1. I don't think this has
It's a more full card.
More full card. I'll give you that, but definitely not match of the year contenders on this show. I'll run down the card.
No. By the way, I'm happy that the Best of Super Juniors got the main event of Dominion.
Yes, that was a topic point that we didn't discuss yet, but that is getting the main event over Mox and Evil per a fan vote. I'm sure that has LIJ Naito implications. But speaking of LIJ Naito implications, main event of Pro Wrestling Noah's One Night Dream 2, Kano versus Minoru Suzuki.
Who's excited by Minoru Suzuki in the year 2024? No one, right?
Yeah. He's
been doing fought Takeshita today.
That was today? Okay.
DDT.
That's good. Did anyone talk about it? Did you see anyone talking about it? I haven't.
I don't even know if it aired.
Oh, Suzuki. We have Jake Lee and Tadasuke versus Tetsuya Naito and Shingo Takagi. Scotty, who's taking the fall?
I think Tadasuke is going to lose.
Wow.
Hard take, but yeah. Are you excited for Naito versus Jake Lee? It sounds like right up your alley.
What show is that going to be on? That was on
All Together in Sapporo.
Well, if it's anything like the first All Together this year, I won't have a way to actually watch it.
You have a way to watch it. You're in America, buddy.
Oh, that is true. But you are, yeah, I guess that's true.
I am in America as well. Yes.
That was my comeback. A match that honestly could be match of the year contender, but I don't think it will be. Tomohiro Ishii versus Masaki Kitamiya.
I mean, that's real.
That's real. Good. That's real.
Masaki Kitamiya better freaking win.
If it's anything like that last match he had in Noah at whatever that show was.
The Segura match?
Yeah.
That was real.
That was real. Tag match. Titus Alexander and Starboy Charlie versus the former Dragon Gate tag team champions, Kaito Kiyomiya and Alejandro.
I thought it was Cristobal.
No, not Cristobal has not showed up yet.
I don't even know who Cristobal is, but I'm so in on Cristobal.
I believe Cristobal, the belief is that Cristobal is Alejandro's brother in real life.
I said it was Christian Cage.
Be Christian Ball is what that would have been.
Cristobal Cage.
6-person tag team match. Great Sakuya. You, not me. You.
You.
What are you, Soldier Boy? And Brooke Havoc versus Brooke Havoc. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Versus Takumi Oroha, Miyuki Tsukase, and Nagisa Nozaki. Whatever.
Brooke Havoc's random. Very random.
Real quickly, I'll blast through these last two. Oh, there's only 2 left. Okay, perfect. 8-man tag team match. Good looking guys: Jack Morris, Anthony Green, LJ Cleary, and Yohei versus Yu Owada, Junta Miyawaki, Daiki Inaba, and Rohei Oiwa. He's still in this company. And a special singles to start off: Sasaki versus Sato as the start of this show. One Night Dream 2 this Wednesday, May 22nd in Corkin Hall.
One Night Dream 2.
Dose.
One Night Dream
2.
2
Night Dream is right there.
I remember when they announced that the show was coming back, I was like, oh baby, like what do we got cooking this time? Mm-hmm. Who makes sense? And then I thought to myself, oh, remember when Kano versus Kenny Omega was supposed to happen?
Yeah. That would have been a One Night Dream 2 for me.
Yeah. For you.
Now we have Suzuki. So is that any better? Is that a downgrade?
No.
I would have taken a singles match. I would have liked it. I would have taken the singles match of Naito versus Jake Lee on this card.
Yeah, it would have been fine as the main event.
Yeah. That's a sexier main event than Suzuki versus Kano. Are we kidding me?
You know what you just said? You said Jake Lee is a sexier main event.
I've always said that. I've always said that Jake Lee. Here's the thing, Scotty. Here's the thing you gotta know about me. Here's the thing you gotta know about me, Scotty, is that I've always said that Jake Lee is a sexier main event. Oh, my back. Oh, my back. Oh, God, that hurt my back. Oh, God, we got to end the episode. That hurt my back a lot.
I think one episode, we should just have Jake Lee hats.
I want a monocle.
I need the Jake Lee hat. I saw him the other day in a video, like walk away from a match, and he put the hat back on. By the way, hilarious little memento. Lady C does the FBS now.
What's the FBS?
That's Jake Lee's finisher, where he does that.
Oh, you mean FPS?
That was BS.
It makes more sense if it's first-person shooter.
It's not that.
Well,
it's like
yeah, but
face blast. Something.
The gun thing makes more sense if it's FPS. I've always
Jake Lee F.
Jake
FPS.
Lee F Mary Kill. Jake Lee.
We're going off the face break shot.
You couldn't have done face point shot, then FPS.
This is your favorite wrestler. Why don't you know this? All right, wait. To end this show, we're gonna have a good fucking conversation here. Who would you rather watch wrestle a singles match main event for a world title in the year 2024? Jake Lee or MJF? This is a Ryan special, by the way, everyone. No one else gets to answer this. The fact that there's debate makes this 10 times funnier.
Well, because I think
I am sick as a dog, but this is worth it.
Both aren't great. A lot of it all will also if it happened tomorrow, it means I get a Swerve title match and a Kaito Kiyomiya title match. I think I'll take Jake Lee. I think I'm taking Jake Lee on that one.
That's hilarious.
Jake Lee versus Kaito Kiyomiya. All right.
You just are a bigger Jake Lee fan.
Yeah. Look. I've always wanted to wear a monocle. And as you can tell by my facial hair, I'm obviously trying to replicate I'm prepping myself for Halloween. Scotty, all I need for Halloween this year is a monocle and a top hat, and I'll be Jake Lee.
I think you should absolutely do that.
I should come onto the show on Halloween.
You won't be able to wear your headphones, but it'll be worth it.
That's true. I'll draw a dumb little diamond on my neck. Is it a triangle or a diamond? I think it's a diamond.
I don't know. I think this is great, though. I think it's great.
This is a question only you can answer. Ready? Fuck, marry, kill. Jake Lee, evil, Keiji Muto.
Obviously marrying evil.
All right.
Have you seen evil?
Tough second choice.
Have you seen evil?
I know. I agree.
Man.
I agree.
You know, my favorite story of all time is when the person tweeted, I went up to evil at CVS and asked, "Are you evil?" No shit. Who else looks like evil?
Well, you took Mary off the board for evil, and now you either have to fuck or kill Keiji Muto. A podcast quote that only exists in Ring Post Radio. Scotty, you must now fuck or kill Keiji Muto. And we're talking Keiji Muto. I'm not talking Great Muta. That is, Great Muta is off the board.
Can I go with no comment?
No, you gotta pick. I had to pick between MJF and Jake Lee. You gotta pick.
Same thing.
This is only for you. Scotty. This is how you're gonna get better.
I am not feeling better at all. I think I'm feeling worse.
Take your medicine. You gotta pick. We are not ending the show until you pick one. Are you fucking or killing Jake Lee? I need to know this.
Who's the better wrestler?
Interesting. Today or all time?
Either way, it's still Keiji Muto. Yeah!
Okay, he is fucking and killing Keiji Muto and a specific order up to Scotty.
Shut up, my boy Evil.
Oh God. I like how immediate Mary was for you, and you couldn't answer the other.
Oh, that was a lock, buddy.
That was like, oh yeah, the doy.
Come on, man. Are you kidding me?
I believe. Come on, man. I think that'll apply to Kejimuto. All right, let's.
This should have happened. He should have both of these belts.
That's it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. I made a joke, and I don't think Scotty realized it. That's it.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
Scotty, anything to plug? And I'm not going to ask you match of the week. I think we're not doing match of the week this week. I've also only watched what we talked about. I think. Well, I caught up on AEW some stuff, but Scotty, let's give me some plugs. Plug Skaruskis.
I don't know.
All right. Well, I'll plug Scotty.
I had an interview with Sari. You should read that.
Oh, okay. The sun girl. What was her thing?
God.
Well, Sun Girl is also not entirely wrong. Oh, did I tell you about what happened last week? Did I tell you what happened last week?
Did someone tell you you're an idiot?
Not lately. I was talking Best of Super Juniors last week, and Ninja Mac left a YouTube comment.
What did he say?
He responded to it. I was saying that he was probably in the most, by being in the Best of Super Juniors, it was probably like his first night wasn't that great, in my opinion. And he felt it looked maybe a little nervous or something because his moves weren't as good as they usually are. Did he
tell you were an idiot?
I told him, I said that it was probably like his biggest spot in the history of his career, going from like Indies to GCW to Noah and now in New Japan. And probably, it was like, this is probably a big time moment for his career. And he left a comment saying that he wasn't nervous at all and that he then subscribed. I checked the YouTube subscribers after the fact. Guess who didn't subscribe and lied to me? That's right. The takeaway, everyone, is that Ninja Mac is a big time liar. That's the takeaway from this show.
Why are you picking enemies?
I'm not picking enemies. He picked an enemy with me.
Oh God!
I hope he loses. I hope he loses in the Best of the Super Juniors.
What is the Best of Super Juniors standing?
Oh, well, I was going to save that for next week, but we can go over.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. Has Blake Christian been bad? Yes. All right, see you later.
I think he's won all his matches. Well, Scotty, he also has an interview with Suri. Come on, man. Come on. Get this out of here.
Sorry, it's me suffering.
Yeah, that is.
Just know I went over 2 hours for the love of the game.
That is true. A Marigold Fields Forever preview by Scotty as well. What I don't. The link doesn't have a thing. Voices of Wrestling is where that preview's at. He did an interview of Suri on Fightful, and I think that's everything you've really basically done.
Stardom Road will be up eventually.
Yeah, no, I'm assuming no Stardom Road this week.
It depends how I feel tomorrow.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess you'll find out.
It'll be up sometime this week, I hope. If
you want a response to all those things, you can follow Scotty at Scott E Wrestling on Twitter. Follow the whole network at Count Pod. My plug is that we brought on a new podcast onto the network. If you're familiar with our other great New Japan podcast, Ichiban Sweetcast, and you know Rafe Houston. Rafe is also the host of Faces and Feels, and so that show, Faces and Feels, is now part of the Countout Network. Basically, it's an interview show interviewing various people that he is friends with in the wrestling business. A lot of indie wrestlers, deathmatch wrestlers, commentators. He interviewed Mikey Nichols of New Japan very recently. The latest episode we launched on Friday, his 150th episode of Faces and Feels cast, is officially part of the Countout Network. So wherever you get podcasts, go check out Faces and Feels cast, Faces and Feels podcast, hosted by Rafe. Like I said, wherever you get podcasts. Now, if you're listening on this YouTube video, if you're watching on YouTube right now, the latest episode's on YouTube, so go check it out. Subscribe, why don't you? Yeah, that's it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. Scotty is folding his arms up to look like he's a dead person in a coffin. And until next week, we will be back. We'll see you all later. Goodbye, everybody.